Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have been discussing about the art of action. Action for effective leadership, Karma Yoga. Action, as you all know, it is the criterion of sincerity. It is the measure and method of true growth. How is it the measure of true growth? You see, it is knowledge lived, isn't it? That is what action is. That is how it becomes a measure. Even if you take any great value of life, knowledge, love is what love does, isn't it? Love is not just what love says, but what it does. So action, the volitional expression, is actually the method and measure of growth of any value, and that is the importance of action. Now the beauty about action is, about karma is, as you go on doing it, it actually changes you. That is the beauty of Karma Yoga. You are trying to change the subject through objective means. Many people think that, good people do good work. But if anybody keeps doing good work, he will become good. This is the glory of action. This is the glory of Karma Yoga. अगर आप अच्छा काम करते रहो, automatically you develop the sanskars and become good. So today this is what we will be studying, how action leads to character formation. Because you see, we are going to study leadership. If you today go to a leadership workshop or personality development workshop, they may give you certain very superficial ideas like leadership depends upon communication skills, soft skills, grooming, all this. These are all of secondary importance, try to understand. The main thing about leadership is the integrity of your personality. If you are an integrated human being, basic integrity is there, basic character, great character is there. You mean what you say. You are purposeful, you are totally committed to your goals. If your character is very high, you will be a natural leader. People will simply follow you because your will be so dominant over the wills of others. Naturally, not out of great effort. So you see, leadership skills basically means this, great character. And in any field of life, to get success, you need this. If this element is lacking, struggle as you may, success will not come. So today we will see how action helps you develop your character. And for that, for those of you who came to the last class, I had given you 3 effects of actions. Do you remember? There's an external effect. Whenever you perform any karma, any act, there's an external effect upon which you have to keep an eye so that the job you do is perfect. And then there's an internal effect which you can't see. What's the internal effect? The mental impression created due to the action. It is called sanskar. And the third effect is the cosmic effect, which is Newton's third law of motion. You get back the force which you have put out into the world. So the second effect, this formation of mental impression or sanskar, is what creates character for you. So any action you perform, there is an internal effect. Within you, in your mind, is etched a sanskar, a certain impression which will goad you further and further towards those kind of actions. This is how action leads to character. We will go into detail into this psychology. But before I start, let me start with an example. Suppose now you went home over the weekend and you wanted to, your mother told you to help her in her everyday tasks, and you did her laundry for her. Let's take this example. अब ये तो एक action आपने किया, एक कर्म किया. Okay. So now this work which you did, you see the external effect in this work is the clothes got cleaned. The clothes for maybe the whole family were cleaned over the weekend by you. This is the external effect. It's visible. The second effect is the intention, the motive with which you did that job created a mental impression in your mind. Now the motives can be various. One motive can be you are doing it to help your mother. Okay, so the sanskar produced here is that of help, that of service. It's a good, beautiful motive. Another motive can be, well, you're scared your father will say something if you don't do this job. So there, if you do it with that motive, what is the sanskar produced? It is one of fear, it's one of obedience. If you did it with a motive of, well, I have to do it in order to keep peace in the household, out of compulsion, then what will be the sanskar produced there? It's not going to be a very good sanskar, as you can see. You have done it out of compulsion, not out of service, not out of love. So you see, the sanskar produced in your mind is directly proportional to your intent or motive behind the work. And so if you have to create great character, the motives behind the work you perform should be very good, isn't it? The motive should be very clear. Remember, mixed motives will give mixed results. Clear motives will give clear results. So the motive behind your work is what actually people work upon. If that motive is clear, leadership will just come out of you naturally. I can give you one example here from the life of our late President, Dr. Abdul Kalam. How he was a natural leader because his motives were always so clear. I don't know if you have read Wings of Fire. Have you read it? Yes, his autobiography. You see, there you will find this incident. When the first SLV-3 was launched in 1979, he was the project manager, and it so happened that because there was some valve defect, although it took off well, you know SLV-3, it's the first rocket required to launch satellites. So when that was launched, due to some defect, it plunged into the Bay of Bengal. And immediately there was a press meetings, the press became very excited about all that was happening, and then there was a meeting for inquiring into the project, everything. And do you know, Dr. Kalam just stood up and took the whole responsibility upon himself and said that, I'm sorry this happened. And within a year, he created another rocket, that was the SLV-3, launched in 1980 July, which was simply super successful. It actually even put Rohini into orbit, the satellite Rohini. So the thing is, when this happened, again the press was very excited and they interviewed him, and then he, you know, during that interview, he gave the whole credit to his team. The very same team had worked for the previous launch also, for the previous rocket also. Now you see the characteristics of a leader, this is what I am showing you. What character means. When they were unsuccessful, the leader took the whole responsibility upon himself. When they were successful, he gives the credit to others. So this is called character. This naturally will come into a person who is very clear and committed about his goals, who has basic inner integrity. And Vivekananda used to say that character is nothing but a bundle of your sanskars. The aggregate of your sanskars, that second effect of good work goes to make your character. If always the motive has been pure, the intent has been pure for your actions, it has been good, it has been noble, it has been elevating, it has cumulative effect upon your mind, and this generates your character. You see, this level of development which you saw in this incident will come naturally if that aggregate संस्कारों का जो समूह होता है उसी को हम चरित्र बल कहते हैं. So work directly leads, you see, the second effect of work directly leads to great character, as you can see. And that is why, let me quote to you what Swami Vivekananda says, the character of any man is but the aggregate of his tendencies, the sum total of the bent of his mind. We are what our thoughts are, isn't it? Thought is nothing but mental action. And that is why take care of what you think. Thoughts live, they travel far. Whatever work you do, whatever thought you think, every movement of your body bears an impression on the mind stuff, bears an impression on your mind. And we, at any given moment, what we are is determined by the sum total of these impressions on the mind. Every man's character is determined by the sum total of these impressions. If good impressions prevail, the character is called good. If bad impressions prevail, the character is called bad. You see how simple it is. Through action you generate sanskar. संस्कारों का समूह को ही हम चरित्र कहते हैं, character कहते हैं. So you see, it is in your hands to make a great character and to be successful in life. Because I tell you, in the workplace, actually what is going to matter is the person. What you have made out of yourself is going to have all the impact. And that is why this is very, very important. What kind of a sanskar I generated? It is something similar to your law of mass action. You have studied it? Law of mass action, what does it say? In any chemical reaction, the force of the reaction, the speed of the reaction is directly proportional to the active masses of the reactants. So also at any given moment of time, the force of your character is directly proportional to the resultant of your sanskars. This is exactly the law of mass action. So what type of mind I have generated is very important for success in life. Please know this. Just adjusting superficial aspects will not do. You must become a person of that type, unbending, highly principled, and absolutely committed to your goals, and you will be naturally a leader. And Karma Yoga, that's why helps you do this. Now, one more thing you should remember, you should understand here is, you see, this sanskar goes and creates your habits also, your tendencies. And so character naturally becomes a bundle of your habits. So Vivekananda used to say, don't say a man cannot improve. He can improve at any time, because character is nothing but a bundle of habits. You can change your habits, isn't it? You can improve them. So also the character of a man can change for the better. You can work towards that. So you see, nobody is hopeless. That is the meaning. And then practically, how does this help us? What generates character is a socially oriented will. This is something more we should understand. If the will is working towards what I can do for others, then naturally your actions will bring good to everybody. Your actions will naturally create very good sanskars in your mind. So a socially oriented will, see the life of any leader, whether you take Gandhiji, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Vivekananda, Shivaji, Rana Pratap, what was the will oriented towards? George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, take anybody. It was a socially oriented will. I will try to provide the maximum benefit to the maximum number of people. I will try to make changes in people's lives. I will motivate them towards high thoughts, high actions. Socially oriented will. I will try to change the lives of others. You understand this? This is the natural, you can say, tendency of a leader. And this is what contributes to leadership skills. Once, a young man came to Vivekananda and told him that this actually happened long before we got independence. He came to Vivekananda and told him, Swamiji, I want to meditate. Please teach me. And then Vivekananda told him, he looked at him and saw that neither is the mind prepared nor is the body prepared. An emaciated young man with a restless mind coming and asking how to meditate. And Vivekananda asked him, what do you do every day? And he said, well, I sit in my room for a long time in meditation. I close all the doors and windows and I try to stop my thoughts, but nothing happens. And then Vivekananda told him, look, my son, first thing is you must open the doors and windows of your room. Look around you. See the people who are suffering in your own locality. See the people who are in need. Go to them. Do what you can do for them. Serve the sick. Bring education to the children of your locality who need education, who cannot provide for themselves. Do what you can. Do your bit for others. And you will see, your mind will naturally be able to meditate. Meditation will become a natural process if there is this socially oriented will. And if there is the personally oriented will, no, meditation is impossible. So you see, this is the starting point of character building, that the will functions towards what can I do for you? How can I help you? Yahi cheez hai. This is the point you have to digest. And by doing this, constant doing something for others, bringing good into others' lives, you will see you naturally overcome all your negativities, your depressions, your anxieties, and create very good sanskars for yourself. These are the unique characteristics of leadership. Kiran Bedi, when she was in Tihar jail, there were a number of convicts whom she had to handle on an everyday basis, and they had all kinds of histories, and the kind of environment they were kept in, all that also has a deep effect, you see, on the mind of any person, any wrongdoer. You ask him why this has happened, he will naturally tell you, well, I do not know. Some kind of a compulsiveness was responsible for that action. And then what did she do as a remedy? Punishment is not the remedy, it's not the cure. What she did was, she made them, she started a small cottage industry there. She made them create things which they could sell and help poor people. Give the sale proceedings to help the poor. Made them create small things, stitching, tailoring, repairing shoes, a cobbler's job. Made them do things by which they could help poor people. Naturally the mindset changes. If you keep doing something to help people, you will get all the karma yoga you need, and all the energy you require, all the character required for leadership, everything will come into your life. If this becomes a hobby, this is one of the best hobbies you can have. What can I do for you? If this disposition comes into our life, you see, a lot of things will develop naturally. And this is how she changed the mindsets of the people whom she was working with. That these correction homes, they also try to do this, they try to implement this, that you can do this on a regular basis with convicts, you can do this for people who are depressed. You make them do something good and help others with that, and you will see all the scars, all the negativities are removed naturally. So doing good makes you good. It's not just that if you are good, you will do good. The converse is truer. So try to understand this, how it works. Now, to understand this better, let me show you a slide. You see, just now we discussed this. Action creates sanskar, sanskar creates habits. Yes? For the latecomers, please see this diagram. Actions generate sanskars in your mind. Sanskars create your habits. What is a habit? It's nothing but a collection of sanskars. And then habits go to form your character, and that character further motivates you towards actions. So this is a cycle, how action develops character. Please see this closely. So now few things are clear to you कि हमारे संस्कारों को कौन create करता है? हम खुद ही create करते हैं, है ना? Through our actions. Who creates our habits? Nowadays in psychology they say something like habit cues. There are certain triggers which make you go into a habit. But the starting point of a habit is you yourself. The tendency of your mind, the mental impression in your mind is the cause for your habits. That goes to create your character, and that motivates you further and further towards action. Now, let us get a few things clear with this diagram. Once you have created mental impressions, it is very difficult for you to change them or go back on them. That is why be careful about the mental impressions you create through your actions. इसका मतलब क्या है? If you get into wrong ways of thinking, living, just in order to escape some bad mood, just in order to escape your depression, if you get addicted to, today you call it drug addiction, substance abuse, isn't it all this? Then what happens is, in your own mind, you will be creating grooves which are dangerous. Actually creating grooves in your mind means what? It translates into neural pathways into your brain. The grooves which you create through your habits in your mind, that is practically becoming the neural pathway created in your brain. Today's science of neurophysiology has studied this phenomenon. इसका मतलब है आप ही create कर रहे हो, आपका brain कैसे काम करेगा? You are creating it. If you have created good positive grooving in your mind, it will result in positive neural pathways in your brain. Once you have created that neural pathway, your energy will tend to flow through that pathway only. समझ में आ रहा है? This is the science of neuroscience, I am telling you, simply put. And if you have created negative pathways, your energy will try to flow only in those negative pathways. This is what makes you repeat the habit again. Habit itself means something which is fixed, isn't it? You look at the word H-A-B-I-T, habit. If you remove H, what remains? A bit remains. You remove A, bit remains. You remove B, still it remains. That is habit. So once you create the neural pathway, it is difficult to change it, but not impossible. This is the great science of neuroplasticity. Neuroscience में ये सब important concepts है. I am diluting it as much as possible for you to grasp it. Neuroplasticity is the art of changing brain connections, neural pathways at any point of time through your habits, through your sanskars, through the thought activity in your mind. You can change it, but it's difficult. Once you have created a solid neural pathway in some particular way, through your actions, through your thoughts, through your emotions, it is difficult to change it. But you can change it at any point of time. That's why they say the brain is plastic. And the whole art of doing this is what is called neurosculpting. इसका मतलब है you actually sculpture your brain. You actually sculpture your mind through your thoughts, emotions, through your actions. इसलिए we have to be careful. You see, today how our educational system is geared, only towards understanding objects, the objective world. That's very good. Because your senses are wide open, they are seeing the objective world, you must try to understand it. But you must also understand the subject, how this mechanism is functioning, isn't it? If you don't know how this mechanism is functioning, no matter what you get from outside, it will not be enough. If you know how this mechanism is functioning, you can handle every objective realm very well. Whether it's your job, whether it's your family, whether it's your interpersonal relationships, whether it's your career, whether it's the opportunities that come into your life, you can handle them very well. If you have some knowledge of how this functions, the body-mind mechanism, how the brain functions. So you see, everything, the etching of your brain is through your thoughts, through your mental activities and your physical activities. And that is why you must pay attention to this. Are you getting the point? That is the purpose of studying this diagram. How action develops character. So you see, your character is in your own hands. It will motivate you further and further towards actions. And that's why good people go on getting better. Bad people may go on getting worse for a certain period of time until they change gear. They change their ways. You can change. It's not that nobody is hopeless. You can change, but it is difficult. So create the right habits. यही idea है. Now I will give you some ideas on sanskar from our Patanjali Yoga Sutras, क्योंकि this is the most important part. They must be telling you in your homes, isn't it? Parents, at least grandparents must be telling you, अच्छे संस्कार होने चाहिए, इसलिए ये पढ़ो, ये करो, ऐसा काम करो, ये सब बोलते हैं ना. क्यों कहते हैं? क्योंकि they know the heart of the whole matter is your sanskars. That is going to decide how your life is going to go. Predict कर सकते हैं. एक बच्चे के संस्कार देख के आप प्रेडिक्ट कर सकते हो किस तरफ जाएगा उसका मन. So they are trying to create that. When we were children, I studied in a convent, and there the nuns used to insist that every day we put down in one diary which was kept for that purpose what we did for others. Every day we had to write at least 2-3 points. I helped this person in this way, or I did this today, I helped my mother in doing this. We had to write it down. Why? They were training us in this. They were showing us through your action you can change your sanskars. They were creating these good habits in us. And that's why in order to put those things in the diary, we used to go and help also. So you see, ये सब important होता है. अगर छोटे छोटे ये सब काम करो ना, ठीक कर लो अपने ही मन में कि ये करना ज़रूरी है. Anxiety, depression, negativities will not come into your life. It's so easy. And if this socially oriented will is not there, the basic motivation to do good is not there. Life is only for my pleasure, for my progress, for my ego. Then, well, you are actually massacring your life. इतनी छोटी बात है, but through psychology you can understand it so well. Now you see, with the ordinary life that we lead, you can create a whole lot of sanskars, which I am going to explain to you through yogic terms also, so that a little yoga also you are able to digest. It will show you finally what is required for leadership skills. You see, these are all the types of sanskars you can create through your actions. What are they? First of all, klesha sanskars, or what are called impulses. Rag, dvesh, bhay, asmita, all avidya. 5 klesh sanskars are there. ये योग सूत्र की भाषा है. इसका मतलब क्या है? राग तो आपको पता होगा. Attachment is called rag. गुस्सा करना नहीं, attachment. Dvesh is hatred. Bhay is fear. Asmita is ego, I sense. And avidya is ignorance. Now you see, through our activities, through our thinking, we can create this set of sanskars which are called kleshas. They are of the nature of impulses, which means what? They are strong drives in your mind. Once you create them consciously, they will go and lodge themselves in the subconscious mind and push you towards actions from there. ऐसे संस्कार है ये, नेगेटिव टाइप ऑफ संस्कार हैं. समझ में आ रहा है? ये सब देखिए, कुछ पॉजिटिविटी है इसमें. फर्स्ट ग्रुप क्लेश संस्कार, दे आर impulses. Impulses are dangerous unless you know how to control them. So this is the first group. The second is what is called vasana or bhog sanskar. They produce effective experiences of life: pleasure, pain, joy, happiness, sorrow, misery, anxiety, and sometimes you're just exuberant. All of this come under vasana. This is the second group of sanskars, your life experiences. The third group is vidya sanskars. These are due to your cognitive experiences. They are called pratyayas, which means due to your thinking, understanding faculty. What you are studying, your mathematics, your physics, whatever subject you are doing, they are all creating vidya sanskars in your mind. ये सब अच्छे हैं. You see, the last 3 are not so sinister. They are going to help you build your life. Then there is this nirodha sanskar, which actually restrains vritti. It's a concept in yoga. And then there is a prajna sanskar, which produces intuition in you. So through your everyday activity, you can create any of these. है ना? सुख दुख सब मिलके हम एक संस्कारों का बंडल क्रिएट करते हैं. These are all the types of sanskars you can create on an everyday basis. You are generating in your mind. This much you should know. Then how exactly the sanskar is going to generate character for you, we will go into this slide. Before that, I want to point out to one thing. See, habits. How are you going to change your habits? This is something you should know. क्योंकि जब हम कर्मयोग करते हैं, I told you, karma leads to sanskar, sanskar leads to habits, habits lead to your character. Isn't it? This is the cycle you saw here. Right? Now, habit changing is a big problem for our young people. How do I make a habit? And how can I unmake it? How do I create it? How can I uncreate it? Sometimes we make wrong habits and then we have to work at changing them. है ना? And good habits, we know they are going to help us. So how do we create habits? The thing is, a habit is only created if you repeat your actions. Isn't it? एक ही चीज को अगर बार बार करो, then the grooving occurs. So a habit can be changed by replacement techniques. Which means what? You don't repeat a thing. Good things only are to be repeated. Now you have to pay attention to your studies because next week is the exam. So the habit of sitting long time with sustained attention applied to your books, this must be the habit. If I study for 10 minutes, then I need 15 minutes of entertainment, then again 10 minutes of study. This is a bad habit. How can I overcome it? Suppose it has come into my experience, next I will not repeat it. I will so fix my will that my mind does not turn towards anything else during my hours of study. अगर आप repeat करते रहो, the habit goes on getting stronger. The way to change a habit is replacement. You replace it with better habits. They say habits can't be removed, but they can be replaced. इसका मतलब है you bring in something which will help you to study further. Drink a cup of coffee, that is better, rather than turning to something else. You see, mind has limited cognitive capacity. You must apply it to one thing at a time and sustain that application. You understand, for long periods of time. This is to be practiced. If you turn your attention to other things, well, you create the wrong habit. You understand, this is the cause for failure. So coffee can be a trigger, a cue for developing the good habit, isn't it? You sit on a comfortable chair with your laptop in front of you, that is a good habit. अगर पढ़ाई में मन नहीं लग रहा हो, still if you have all these accessories close to you which will help you study, the habit will grow. The good habit will grow. You understand? So habits you can create them, you can uncreate them. Create the right habits right now. Your sleeping hours, your waking hours, they must be programmed for success, not for failure. If the mind is so over anxious or full of fear or depressed occasionally that I need this and that entertainment in order to pep up my mind, you have got into the wrong mode of habits. The way to change this is, as I told you, the positive habit cues are to be collected. You know, there is a loop of habit. The loop has this. First of all, habit cues should be kept close to you. Then this is all modern psychology, what I am telling you. And then a craving for the goal to be achieved is to be created. Yes, right? And then a response, reward and response mechanism is to be created, which means what? If I have my immediate goal is to do very well in the upcoming assignment next week, then what will I do? I will promise myself a period of rest after the test if I work well now. A kind of reward mechanism you are giving yourself. I will be able to do what I like after this period. So then the mind will obey you. The mind will sit there. You understand? Otherwise it can become very restless at some point of time. So try to understand there are ways of developing good habits, and if you are able to develop habits which will keep you focused on your goals, then your success is guaranteed. If you develop the wrong habits, enormous energy is wasted and you have to collect it again, bring it into a particular sort of pathway, and then only you will get success. So अपने आप में ये ठीक कर लो. See, here I would like to point out to a phenomenon called incentive salience. Have you heard of it? Incentive salience is a big concept today. It is actually an analysis of what is called craving, want, and why we have irrational wants which will lead us nowhere. Still we have it, isn't it true? See the relevance of all this in your own life. ये कोई theory नहीं मैं जो बोल रही हूँ. It is everyday life you are facing it. What is the cause for irrational wanting? See, let me explain this phenomenon of incentive salience because it is important for you. This is all modern psychology, but this is deeply rooted in a very strong yogic idea which I will come to at the end. देखिए salient का मतलब क्या है? आप बोल सकते हो what is salient feature of something. Now what is the salient feature of Delhi? That it is the capital of India. Salience means what sets something apart from everything else. The characteristic feature of something is its salient feature. है ना? So now saliency detection, it is actually a key attentional mechanism and a learning process today, by which what do? You see, it helps you focus your limited cognitive and perceptual capacities on a subset of available sensory data. It helps you focus. When you are able to remove the salient feature of something, it helps you learn that thing better, isn't it? So it's a key learning mechanism. Now in this incentive salience, what is happening is, it's a strange mechanism of our mind. It's a cognitive process actually, which makes you want something more and more whether you like it or not. And usually the want motivates you towards an already rewarding object. I will give you examples to help you understand this. It's an analysis of craving, as I told you. Usually what are the things which you crave for, which you want? Things which have given you happiness in the past, isn't it? Something you enjoyed in the past that your mind will start craving for another experience of it. But this incentive salience is such an irrational desire, it creates such an irrational desire, whether you have experienced joy or not, whether it is good for you or not, whether you like it or not, a kind of restless acquisition remains in your mind, wanting it, craving for it without any experience of it. This is called incentive salience. It is actually due to the neurotransmitter dopamine. That is supposed to be the psychology behind it. Even without an experience, just due to dopamine release, you can suffer incentive salience, and it's a totally irrational process. You see, technically it is defined as cue triggered decision utility is greater than remembered utility, which means what? Cue triggered. You may find a few cues that triggers a decision to acquire something beyond what your memory directs you to get. So it is just an irrational craving which you can't get rid of sometimes. होता है ना, है ये होता है ना कभी कभी. Let me give you an example. Maybe you are passing through your IIT bakery shop. I don't know if you have a bakery shop here. Or fruit juice stall is there. So if you are passing through that during lunch time, you already had your lunch, but there will be a craving to experience something more. You are studying something, you went to a web page, advertisements popped up. Naturally your finger will go towards, let me see what this product is about. Incentive salience. There is this strange situation when you can want something more and more while even liking it less and less. This is a kind of aberration of the human mind. And the solution to this they have not yet found, but the solution is wonderfully given in the Bhagavad Gita. Can you imagine? This very same concept has been put very beautifully in the Bhagavad Gita. Do shlok hai, I will just tell it here, recite it here, try to catch the solution. See, in the conversation between Krishna and Arjun in the Bhagavad Gita, at one point he says, Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sanghasteshopajayate. As you go on thinking of objects, sense objects, you develop a sort of attachment towards them. You see, just thinking, vritti creation, makes you feel attached after some time. Whether you like it or not, whether you have experienced it or not, you see, incentive salience, you start getting attached. Sanghat sanjayate kama. That attachment creates desire. Kamat krodho vijayate. From this desire, not that you will always get it, maybe there is no money in your pocket to buy juice or cake or whatever. So then anger comes. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. From anger comes a sort of delusion, a kind of moha. And sammohat smriti vibhramaha. This makes you forget what is in your memory. You see, remembrance utility is compromised. This is incentive salience. Sammohat smriti vibhramaha smritir bhramshat buddhi nasho. If you forget all the good things stored in your memory, if your memory no longer directs you, what will it lead to? Buddhi nasho. Smritir bhramshat buddhi nasho. It results in nash of your intellect, destruction of your intellect. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. That is the moral death of the person. If your intellect no longer directs you towards what you should do, you are totally under the grip of some negative emotion, some kind of craving, some kind of compulsion, some unconscious force, then it can result in a moral death. You will go and do the wrong thing. This is how, you see, compulsively you can be led towards a very wrong action. You are wanting, craving something more and more, which is not good for you at all, maybe. So what is the starting point of this? Dhyayato vishayan pumsa, isn't it? It led to buddhi nashat pranashyati. The starting point is you started thinking too much of something which was not required. You paid too much attention to something which was not required for your experience. You get the point? You literally meditated on something which is of no use to you. That is why I say directed thinking, directed attention, directed towards definite goals, goal orientation, first condition for success. If this is not there, you can never be a leader. Hoga to hoga, nahi hoga to bhi chalega. Such people cannot be leaders anywhere. If I don't achieve it, who will achieve it? The path will become clear if you do this. And remember these psychological points which I am giving you. Just paying attention to something which is of no consequence to your life will generate an attachment towards it. That is the cause for incentive salience. And it leads to finally the moral death of the person. So that is why I say become aware of the great goals of your life and assert that awareness. I take my life into my hands. I am in charge of this instrument and I will direct it towards my purposes. Don't allow all these unconscious forces to remove you from this. This is one thing which you have to understand. Let me give you one understanding here. The practical utility of this psychology is it brings you into a condition where you know you are reliable. You know, this confidence which is required for leadership skills comes from this. If you develop this form of self-control, which means what? My awareness decides which way my life will go, which way my faculties will move. When I understand this, what happens is I learn to rely upon myself. किसी भी situation में I know I will take the right decision. I know my will go towards my goals. It will not get bifurcated. It will not go away from my goals. समझ में आ रहा है? Then when you find yourself reliable, you will develop confidence. है ना? If you find yourself unreliable in any, can you develop confidence? Can you have confidence? Only idiots have confidence in such situations. अंदर कुछ भी नहीं है, फिर भी they are acting very confident. It is only your reliability and your clarity which gives you confidence. Please see this. 100% reliability. In any situation, I will only act according to my principles and ideals. This is character and this is the nature of a leader. This only comes if you have paid attention to this system, how it works, and directed your attention towards what really matters to you. Don't get carried away. अब advertising agencies, इनका काम ही है to carry you away, to buy their products, isn't it? Anywhere, it's like a marketing tactics all these are, but you must be focused, you must be alert and aware, and you must take your life into your hands. You are perfectly capable of it. You see, the secret of success lies in directing your will, keeping the will in your hands. My will is not compromised for something silly in life. Then you will be successful anywhere. So now let me go into one concept which is very important. Too much of psychology I am giving you in this session, but that's why I am interspersing it with stories. क्योंकि ये psychology एक बार आप पकड़ लोगे ना, आपको your whole life it will help you. So you know in any situation why my mind is working like this, what steps I should take. You see, the sanskars which you have generated as a result of your actions, what happens? The fructification of a sanskar is an important concept for you to understand, so that you understand impulses से क्या होता है, how it directs my action. To understand this, see, this diagram is very simple, although it looks complicated there on the slide. Once you have, through your actions, you have generated sanskars in your mind, they get lodged in your memory. Once they get lodged in your memory, आपके अंदर भी एक memory bank है ना? In fact, most of your thoughts are memories. So, when your memory is filled with these sanskars, according to your sanskars will be your impulses. It generates your impulses. There can be, impulse may not even be the right term here, but why I am giving you this is, suppose there are negative sanskars in the mind, then usually impulses come out, which means you are only half aware of them. You understand? If there are too many negative sanskars and they impel you towards action, this is always the sequence: memory, impulse and action. Memory is sanskars lodged in your mind, they create impulses for you and goad you towards particular actions. Now the way to overcome this cycle, again those actions will create further sanskars, है ना? Let me give you an example, तभी आपको पता चलेगा. Let's take the simple example of cigarette smoking. Maybe you have that habit, you want to overcome that habit. अब क्या हो रहा है, एक बार आपने सिगरेट पी लिया तो एक संस्कार क्रिएट हो गया. That will make you want to smoke a cigarette again and again. The slightest cues You saw a man smoking or the smell of nicotine and immediately you want to hold a cigarette, or you saw an advertisement and you want to, although the statutory warning is always there, still incentive salience, the craving will be there to smoke a cigarette. Now you see, because in your memory the sanskars have become lodged of cigarette smoking, whether you like it or not, uchit ho ya na ho us jagah pe, still you will want to do it. Now that impulsively you will hold a cigarette and light it. It pushes you towards the action. Doing this again and again creates, this is a cycle again, you see, will create the sanskar, again the whole thing keeps getting repeated. Now the way to break this habit, stop this, is you must be able to de-link memory and impulse. You can de-link. How do you de-link memory and impulse? इसका मतलब है अगर आपके मन में भी आए एक desire, the impulse should not come. I must be able to stop there. It's just another thought. The impulse should not get generated. How is this possible? This is only possible if you have replaced cigarette with something else which is more attractive to you. You understand? It can be some soft drink which you took as a replacement for the habit of smoking. It can be some particular food. It can be your study material which you like more. It can be your laptop. It can be anything which you use as a substitute for the cigarette. Whenever you feel the urge to smoke, no, rather do that. Rather see some good thing on your mobile. Hear a good YouTube talk. But that is the way to replace these things. I told you habits can be replaced. That is the way to overcome them. Sanskars can be replaced. So you can de-link memory and impulse if you create enough good sanskars in your mind. Even if the memory of the cigarette comes to your mind, the impulse will not come. The two have got, you have broken the cycle. And this will naturally create another stop between the impulse and the action. So when the impulse is not coming, the action will not take place. A time gap has been created. So you have enough time to think of the harmful effects of cigarette smoking. You understand? Impulsive behavior would have gone by this. इसीलिए create the good sanskars in your mind. The heart of this is this much only. कि good habits, good sanskars in your mind. देखिए, another common example which many in IIT have asked me is inability to get up early in the morning. Is this true? With all of you? Maybe you work till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, some even till 3 o'clock I heard. And then you are not able to get up early in the morning. But all of us keep telling you it's very good to get up early, to bed early, to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise. Now what to do? How to develop this habit of getting up early? क्या होता है? Many times if you maybe at 12 o'clock you decided I will get up at 5 o'clock and you set your alarm and you went to sleep. At 5 o'clock, as soon as the alarm rang, this is what you did. You see what is given in the slide. You threw the alarm and went back to sleep. Now यहाँ क्या हो रहा है? देखिए जल्दी उठने के संस्कार है नहीं मन में. So the memory of sleeping pushes you towards the action. Here it's actually inaction. It is going back to sleep. The memory, impulse, action generated as a result of lack of sanskars of getting up early push you towards sleep alone. So then how to change this situation? I will force myself to get up early for a week through the alarm, and I will create at that time an atmosphere, an ambience which I will like. Maybe you go out on a walk, or in IIT you can do so many things. The air is so crisp. You can do something in the playground, you can take good exercise, you can do yoga, you can go into very good reading at that time, thoda योग कर लिया या थोड़ा prayer किया. How many things you can do? Once you get a taste for these things, you have created enough sanskars to break this cycle. You understand? Once you get a taste for these things. So then this memory, impulse, action cycle will get broken. So when your alarm rings after a week, naturally you will get up, not with anger. You understand? You can break this cycle. This is what I am trying to tell you. This is how the fructification of a sanskar takes place, and you can change anything you want to change in your life. You can de-link memory and impulse. You can stop an action, a wrong action at any point of time you can do this. So please understand, a little work on ourselves is required. सिर्फ ऑब्जेक्टिव नॉलेज होने से नहीं होता है, थोड़ा सब्जेक्टिव नॉलेज भी चाहिए. दिस इज सब्जेक्टिव नॉलेज, isn't it? How to change yourself. This is what it is telling you. You know, earlier in schools and all that, it was mandatory to teach children, even we as children had moral science classes, to teach children the importance of developing good sanskars. आपको शायद ये स्टोरी पता है, गांधी जी के लाइफ में ये आती है. The school inspector was going around Gandhi's school. You remember, he was a small boy at that time, and the teacher, to impress the inspector, gave them a dictation of English words, and one spelling Gandhiji had written wrong. And the teacher was telling him, see your neighbor and write the right spelling, because he only wanted to show the inspector how well the class is doing. And Gandhiji did not move. The little boy refused to lie, to tell an untruth. देखिए, उसी उम्र से ऐसे संस्कार थे, इसलिए later on he was the greatest advocate of satya, ahimsa, all these great values of life. उसी उम्र से the sanskar creation was towards truth, towards honesty, complete integrity. This is the thing, this is what I am trying to tell you. संस्कारों को generate किया जा सकता है, specifically target towards creating the right stuff in your mind, so that your actions are always reliable, you find yourself always confident. This is a possibility in your life. इसके बाद हम जाएंगे the analysis of behavior. You see, to become a successful leader through karma, it is performance alone is not enough, isn't it? What is more important than IQ? Tell me. EQ is more important? Is it a conviction ना, या हम बोल रहे हैं इसलिए आप हाँ कर रहे हो? Is it true or not? Behavior is important or no? Even when you go to a job interview, they are going to look at you first. Then what you know and what you can do or you cannot do. What you radiate, the confidence that you have, the purposefulness in your eyes, that is all the more important. And your general behavior, the way you talk, the way you walk. So behavior and character are related. What is behavior is actually your reactions to any given environment. The reactions on the physical, mental plane, the reaction of your will, the reactions of your emotions. You know, this is what behavioral psychology studies. So your behavior at any given point of time is very important for success in life. And that is why EQ, SQ सब कुछ important हो जाता है. Your emotional quotient, सुना होगा आपने? If you are saying one thing but you don't mean it, you don't think you will be successful. If you are not saying something but just radiating it, but then you can still be successful. Communication skills alone are not enough. You must mean what you say. You must do what you believe in. That is when your team will follow you. So यही बात है. Now regarding this behavior, how it is created also, you must know the deep level psychology of it. If once you know it, then you modulate your behavior according to your requirements, isn't it? In the work space, you need a particular behavior. With your colleagues, you need a particular behavior. With your family, you need a particular behavior. You will know what to do in every instance. You see, behavior also is nothing but interconnected sanskars bundled into what are called complexes. Complexes आपने सुना होगा psychology में. They result in definite traits of character, which is called स्वभाव, behavior. यही आपका स्वभाव है. You get it? Your sanskars जो आपने action के द्वारा create किया अपने मन में, they get bundled into or interconnected into a network of complexes, and these are responsible for your traits of behavior. Traits का मतलब है एक tendency. इसी को स्वभाव कहते हैं. And this यही प्रकाश इसी का प्रकाश होता है whenever you are interacting with any particular environment. So you see, if your sanskar backpack is very solid, very good, you can be sure your behavior will be very good. है ना? उसका source है संस्कारों में. पता चल रहा है आपको? Just polishing the outside is not enough. Behavior is not polishing the outside. Behavior is showing who you truly are. So, this is the psychology that you should understand in order to achieve success anywhere in life. Character, behavior, all these are very important. You see, behavioral psychologists in the last century, many of them like Watson and Skinner, all these people believed that the main learning process is conditioned learning. You know conditioning? Have you heard of conditioning? Psychological conditioning, which means associating ideas and repeating so that you are conditioned into a particular knowledge. But later on it was found that it is not so. The main learning faculty in the human being, due to our well developed brain cortex, it is cognitive learning. You learn by understanding. You learn through knowledge, isn't it? You take a chimpanzee and a human child. For the chimpanzee, the only way you can communicate with him is through sign language, and he will understand also like that. But a child will start picking words quickly, isn't it? So, in us, this is what distinguishes the human species, that cognitive learning is the main way of learning. So, just by understanding all these concepts, you make them part of your personality, you can integrate them into your personality. That is why this conceptual understanding is very important for you. इसके बाद let us go into this thing. The very purpose of karma, the actions that you perform, is to break the tyranny of your habits, to create great character and thus consciously shape your destiny. If you do not create a great character through work, through the right sanskars, you are unconsciously shaping your destiny. Then it is not called destiny, it is called fate. Unconsciously something is happening, isn't it? पता नहीं कैसे हो रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है, कुछ भी पता नहीं. If you have taken all of this into your hands, it is destiny for you. You have consciously shaped it. You know where you are going. You know what you can achieve. है ना? नहीं तो everything is by chance as it were coming into your life. You are not in charge of anything. You are not in control of anything. So ये psychology आपको यही देती है. If you have consciously developed your character, you have consciously built your life, and you can do it through your work. Let me give you a story here and we will end this session. देखिए एक ही situation में अगर आप ठीक will करो, ठीक काम करो, you can change the entire circumstances of your life. And if you are lazy, not given to work, not given to working hard in life, you can never build your life. Let me tell you, this is a real story covered by Time magazine many years back. There was 2 children were growing up in a slum. Have you heard of this story? They were growing up in a slum, and ऐसा हुआ था, the mother was not there, the mother had died and the father was a drunkard. And these children, they were very young. One was I think 5 years old and the elder brother was 7 years old. And nobody was there to look at their education, nobody was there to feed them at home. The father used to come late at night and batter them. And these 2 children were sort of forlorn, what to do with life. And the elder brother, in a sense, was lazy also, not given to too much work. But this younger brother, he wanted to get out of this situation. It came into his head, why should I live my whole life like this in this slum? And he consciously went around exploring a school, found a village school there and close to his slum, and educated himself till class 5. Then he got into some kind of a training. Along with that training, he passed SSLC, he finished class 10. He came out in flying colors. So he was provided with a scholarship for further study. He completed his class 12, got into, he took a simple graduation course. After that he did his MBA and he came out in such flying colors. He got into marketing, Finally, he ended up becoming the CEO of a multinational company in US. A super success in life. By the age of 30, he was earning billions of dollars. He was almost a billionaire. Now, this very successful story he was interviewed, and this elder brother, this is the success story of the younger brother. The elder brother lived right where he grew up. He was in that slum. He grew into another drunkard, made nothing of himself in life, and constantly blaming others, criticizing others, and drinking at night. So followed in the footsteps of his father. Now both these brothers, who were so different from each other, they were interviewed separately. And this younger brother, who was doing so well in the US, he was asked, कि आपके life की success story, what is the secret of your success? And he said, hard work. With a father like that, I knew I had to stand on my own feet. So I worked very hard. What else would you expect one to become with a father like that? And then this man, this elder brother who was still in that same slum, they didn't know he was the brother. They interviewed him here. And they asked him, ki, how have you reduced yourself to this state? And he said, what else do you expect one to become whose father is like that? Same answer. अब देखिए, same situation, same circumstances, same environment. What made the difference? Work, will, attitude, commitment. So don't blame your circumstances. Don't blame anybody in your life. Your life is what you make out of it. How you are disposed towards life, what orientation you have given yourself, what training you have given to this mechanism will decide your success in life. कभी दूसरों पर blame मत डालना. Even the most difficult circumstances can be overcome if your intelligence, your life energies, your body mind is working for you. If they are not working for you, if they are working unconsciously, then you never know where life will lead you. Then everything is unconscious in your life, it's all happening by chance. So you have in you this power to guide your life. Agar you take the reins of your life in your own hands, through your character, through your hard work, through the application of your mind. Mainly hard work means where you have applied your mind, how much of your mind you have applied. And then you can do anything with your life. You can create a great life, or you can create a miserable life. It's your choice entirely. That is why Vivekananda used to say, you are the creators of your destiny. Stand up, be bold, be strong, take the whole responsibility on your shoulders and know that you are the creators of your destiny. कितनी बार स्वामी जी ने ये मैसेज दिया है for young people. Never say, oh मेरे नसीब में नहीं है, यहाँ पर लिखा नहीं है, मेरे एस्ट्रोलॉजर ने ऐसा कहा, or my parents had told me that what will you do anyway. No such nonsense. You are perfectly capable of any achievement. You must only know the means. ये psychology इसलिए आपको दी जा रही है so that you take your life into your hands. So if you promise to do this, ये सार्थक होगा ये course, है ना? I am not bothered whether you get the credit or not, but I am bothered that you create a great life based on these ideas. Will you promise me that? Yes. Then we will continue with this course. Let me end by giving you a message for this today's session, which is there again in the Bhagavad Gita. एक बहुत सुंदर श्लोक है, उद्धरेद आत्मना आत्मानम न आत्मानम अवसादयेत आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बंधु आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः. Very powerful message. You are your own friend, you are your own enemy. If you raise yourself by yourself, you will be your friend. If you degrade yourself by yourself because your will was not committed, you are your own enemy. There are no friends and enemies outside. That is all tertiary, not even secondary. What I did out of my system is going to decide my success in life. ये अच्छी तरह समझ लीजिए आप. And take charge. This awareness will generate the required will. The will generate the right action. Through the right action, you will have the right decisions. Through your right decisions, you will have success. This is the sequence. Take the whole thing into your hands. From now onwards, IIT itself means you are at a very special position, at a great vantage point of advantage actually. If you can at this point understand that yes, I can do anything, you will do it. Nothing else matters. This is the secret of success. Okay? At the heart of it all is character. What makes character? Action. Okay, we will end the session here.